That's his. Yeah, not the one we've got now, but the original. Lower than that.
Well, first of all, thanks a lot for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know you.
And everything is she just like amazed to find out this.
Tell you one thing that Julie Weiss, we saw the costumes from Shanghai Tang, the designer of the clothes on the movie.
That happened in China, whether that had a big impact on the budget.
It didn't.
Yeah.
Think about the polished hubcaps.
I don't know if you.
And as he comes to Shanghai, he finds out that his friend, his dear friend, has been murdered, and so he begins an odyssey taking you through Shanghai to try to uncover what happened to his friend and find out what he was investigating. And it turns out that his friend was investigating Anthony Lanting, played by Yun-Fat's character. So my character ingratiates himself into that world, and as the film progresses, he gets closer and closer to the truth of what is about to happen in the world war situation, and he becomes closer and closer with the Lantings, played by Gong Li and Chow Yun-Fat. And in the meanwhile, as Chow Yun-Fat suggested, there's a Captain Tanaka, played by Ken Watanabe, who is the overlord of Shanghai. And so it's a very interesting relationship, very complicated relationship between four very adult characters who are forced to deal with each other and lie to each other and have various agendas with each other for very, very personal reasons that become uncovered as the film goes. So
more or less we trapped in triangle situation. Our relationship, Anna, Paul, and me, plus we have another character called Tanaka, played by Ken-san. And I think it's very interesting that four of us together is not only the passion of hatred by the period Japanese and against the Chinese, but more or less to personally, you know, not very politically related to the war issues. It's more our passion.
我也不想讲太多自己的角色，我希望有一个神秘感。我希望大家在看的时候才能知道我演一个什么样的角色。
I think the quick answer to the China question is wrong time. Wrong time for us to be making a movie there with the Olympics and all of the politics going on there. I think another year would not have been a problem. But as Michael said, you know, we've been able to rethink the film and maybe gain a little bit more production value out of the locations that we've chosen, both in London and in Thailand. I think the construction team here has been able to achieve something that we would never have been able to do in China. And I think in London we were able to find a certain type of location that's a little bit more appropriate to the film. Shanghai of 1941 is an extremely opulent period for Shanghai with a huge Western influence. And some of those locations were not available anymore because the city has been rebuilt. On top of that, we were able to do a little bit more construction for the film on the Thailand side that allows us to be a little bit more imaginative, a little bit more creative with the Shanghai that we're created. Obviously, it's not a documentary. It's a film. It's a feature film that has some basis in reality. But we also want to create our version of Shanghai. And I think Michael and his production design team and director of photography have been able to use this palette a little bit better than perhaps we might have had if we had gone ahead and shot when we were going to shoot in Shanghai.
We were shooting part of this film in London, which made a lot of sense because the interiors we looked for were there in a very good way. Thailand invited us in a great way. We got possibility to do this fantastic backlot that I couldn't dream of that we could achieve, and the studio here incorporated a lot of the most important sets of the film. So, so doing the shoot that way made a lot of sense to us.
我想所有的上海的以后所有的上海的一些片都可以到这儿来拍。
Early one in the early 80s happened in here. So that's a long time in between films. Oh yeah.
Usually you can get in the United States, at least the only way I've been able to work it out is you can do very, very commercial films with big budgets that are, very simple. And then you can do art films or very interesting films that have lower budgets. And the opportunity to do both, to do something that has a big budget, a great scope with a great director and great actors, that has the quality and level of writing and the level of production design and the scope of something like this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. It's